Hi, my name's Craig Melville. I'm a director originally from Australia, but I now live in New York. Believe it or not, I've been directing for about 25 years now. In that time, I've shot over 100 commercials for clients including Pepsi, Expedia, Air New Zealand, Singapore Airlines, Disney, Honda, McDonald's, Carnival Cruise Lines, Target. You get the idea. Although I love directing, I also love the opportunity to focus purely on the visuals from time to time. So I've recently worked as a director of photography on a couple of TV pilots, and also DP'd a feature film called Subferatu, which is a bit like the classic submarine film Dust Boat, but mixed with Gilligan's Island, and with time travel and vampires thrown in. I'm definitely a film technology junkie. I've done my best to jump on the bandwagon of every new wave of camera and post technology in the past few decades. So when I was asked to test out Colourlab Ai, of course I said yes. 2 weeks ago I finished shooting some test scenes for a feature film. Ben and Mike, the creators of the film, had invited me to DP and help with some of the producing. I was just about to start colour grading our tests, so I thought it'd be a good chance to try out Colourlab Ai. Our shots have very strong colour and lighting choices baked in, so I was interested to see what the AI would do to match our shots to a variety of different looks from other films. So with a quick session in Colourlab with these references and some tweaks in Resolve, here's what I ended up with.
You're so dark. What, are you Italian or something?
Afterward, a boy child was born unto Shields, a cub in the yard, a comfort sent by God, the scourge of many a tribe.
So how do you do it? Select the gear icon for the project settings, go to color management and select tetrahedral here. They'll improve the rendering of LUTs inside Resolve, and it's also the recommended workflow for RED cameras. In DaVinci Resolve, I've created a sequence of shots from our feature film test. It's basically a collection of the moodier scenes that we shot. I'm going to open up Colourlab Ai. Now I'm going to click Resolve Import. I just have to tell it that this shot is from a RED camera. Click Done. Now we've got the footage in, I need to set the show look. So we go to the show look tab. Got to set the show look, which I've got set to a standard RED setting here, and we're good to go. Now I want to import some reference stills, so I click on the reference stills tab. There's nothing in here at the moment, but I'm going to go import stills. Got some shots here. Going to go open. And now they're imported in. Click on the thumbnail, makes them appear in the viewer. I'm just going to select this Blade Runner reference shot. Now I want to test this shot. Now to match this shot to this look, I just go to match still. Don't worry if it doesn't look like an exact match straight away. Press return and you'll see all the models. And you can click on the different models here to try out the different matching methods. Some will work better than others. It's just the way it kind of works. I often find these perceptual ones are pretty good. Maybe in this case I'm interested in looking at this finals one because I want it to be a bit more moody. If you press B or N on the keyboard, you can flip through the different looks. As you jog through, you'll see the different changes for each model. It's changing the color wheels, the lift, gamma, gain, and the saturation. If you want to change or tweak any of the settings, you can do that straight away in the panel and adjust it to your liking. If you lose your way, you can always go reset to match and they'll return you back to the suggested AI setting. If you go to scopes, you can jog through the different waveforms. This one's actually a split screen between the reference shot and the current shot. If you want to compare this grade to the original, you can just go to selected shots. This one's the log, the flat view. This one's a Rec 709. This is the show look, and that's the shot look. If you like a look on a particular shot, you can copy the grade using Command C, Command V to cut and paste. So let's try an even more stylized shot and see how we go matching it to a cooler shot like this one. Let's go match to still. It's actually done a pretty good job considering how extreme that original shot is. Let's look in the models. Smart came up pretty well. Dailies I don't think is going to be much good. RGB. And by the way, I'm just kind of looking here more for creative ideas. I'm not really even looking to match exactly what this shot is. I'm just trying to figure out what could be an interesting look to have for this film. So I think I'm going to go with Perceptual 2. It's a bit more green, but I kind of like it. So if I think that's interesting, I can just go save to gallery, and I'll save it in this little gallery here. I can click on it here, label it if I wanted to, etc., file it away, put a tag on it. But let's try something else. Let's see what else we can do. What if we went the other direction, go back to a sort of a more red shot? Now the selected shot already has a fair bit of red in it. Let's go back to its original look and have a look. So go back to here, and I'm going to go match to still. Okay, that's another interesting look. It's not bad actually. It hasn't done a bad job. It is quite a different look. So if I like that particular one, I can compare it with the original. I can flick between pressing 3 and 4. I can flick between the different options. And if say I like that and I wanted to record that, again I can just go save to gallery. What if I try a black and white shot just to see what the AI does? Match to still. Okay, nothing seemed to happen, but what it actually does is it'll only work on dailies and RGB for some reason. Perceptual gives you kind of desaturated look. It's actually matching the tonal qualities reasonably well. It's probably not designed to do that, but interesting to see what it does. Let's try something else. Why don't we try this split tone look? Not dissimilar to what we had before. A little bit maybe if I pulled a bit of saturation out to get into a closer area. What about this shot? This shot's got a lot of light movement and changes. The AI actually looks at all the frames in the shot, not just the frame that you're sitting on when it's doing its calculation. So it's worth knowing that when you're trying to understand what it's doing. This shot's already warm, but what if we tried to make it look like another specific warm shot to see what that does? Let's try this one. Match to still. I can see why it's gone like that. It's a little lower contrast. Look at the scopes. Let's see what the other models have to say. I usually quite like this perceptual one. It's picking up a few more of the purple kind of colors in the background, just sort of like these ones. I kind of like that look. I'm going to save that one to the gallery. Let's have a look at this Suicide Squad shot. Let's press 3 to go back to where we were. It's actually got some similar qualities, but let's see what the AI does to match it closer. Okay, interesting. Again, I think this perceptual, I prefer this perceptual one. It's a bit more blue, but I don't mind the look. That's a bit heavy. It's sort of different, but I hadn't thought about the shot looking like this. Maybe this is something interesting we can play with. Obviously, you're not limited to film stills. You can put whatever you want in here and experiment with things. What about we try matching the Mona Lisa? It's got similar colors. Let's go back. I'm going to press number 3 to go back to the original look so we can see what it's actually doing. I'm going to match. Actually, I'm going to press S rather than match to still. That's a shortcut. Pressing return. Again, the perceptual one, usually that's a bit weird. You've got to look at the whole shot, not just that one frame. I think it's quite good, so I'm going to save that to the gallery. Let's just quickly try a few others. Perceptual one, that's pretty good. Save. What about this one? Actually that's pretty good. Depends on how electric you want it. That's not bad considering how extreme that is. Let's try a more muted one. See what this one does. Don't mind that. We've got a cooler one. You can see it does it pretty quickly. Go back to Blade Runner. A more milky one. Doesn't like that. But again, clicking the perceptual 1 and perceptual 2, getting a pretty similar effect pretty quickly. Why don't we try some surrealists? What about this? It's actually not bad. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. It's really just adding in different blues. This was just a bunch of colors from Taxi Driver that I painted. That one kind of gets it. So I've quickly gone through and just tried different experiments with different sections of the film, thrown a few different looks on, and now I want to get it back out into Resolve. And all I do is go to Resolve Export. That will export the LUTs, which in this case is just the one show LUT. And now it says refresh resolves LUTs. Don't click continue, it says refresh resolves LUTs. So you want to go to Resolve. So I'm going to flick across to Resolve, and I want to right click here and go refresh. What that will do is in this color intelligence folder, it'll add some new LUTs in here. You don't really need to worry about it, just does it in the background. Then once you're done with that, go back to Colourlab and click continue. Now it's syncing with Resolve. flick back to resolve, and we'll see in here it's created CDLs and 3D LUTs for each of the shots. So the CDL contains the color information, the grade basically, and the 3D LUT was just that show LUT. So it's worth noting that these nodes will replace whatever was here before. So if you've done some work in nodes, you want to keep a backup of the timeline. But now it's ready to go. Oh, one other thing I can show you here that's kind of cool. If you go to PDF export, go export PDF, and it'll generate a PDF with all the shots. So there you go, that's my quick experiment to see what you can do with matching reference stills in Colourlab AI.